is January 1st, 2024, and we are live, hot off the press.
Yes. Happy New Year, everyone. I am drinking the last of the open bottle of Veuve champagne, Veuve, for those who are more on the up, that we opened last night.
Drinking Veuve Clicquot champagne.
The real ones will get it.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, it's a little flat, but this glass is actually bigger than the bottle, so it doesn't look like I have a big glass here, but there's actually quite a bit here I have to work through as we record this episode.
Oh, it's so funny. Via video, I can't tell that's your Big Mama glass.
Yeah, except like look at it compared to my head. Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
For those of you not watching, which is no one, the stem came to the top of Kelly's head, her messy bun, and
my
the
gorgeous
glass exceeds.
huge head.
It's not big. You have a beautiful dainty head.
I've long had a 5 head, but you know they say that that's a sign of prosperity. I think something like that.
And you are so very prosperous. That's why you cut side
high
bangs.
Hairline. Yeah, I actually didn't cut the side bangs myself. That was a coordinated effort between my hairdresser and my pageant coach, both of whom are still in my life 15 years later, despite giving me surprise bangs at 16 years old, which was not that cool. But we digress. We have a lot to talk about. We just wrapped up that weird week between Christmas and New Year's where we actually do a whole lot typically, and this year was no exception. So
that week gets a bad rap. I feel like a lot of people think of it as like, no one remembers the few days between Christmas and New Year's. Some people go back to work. Most people don't go back to work. You're just chilling. And taking it easy is also what a luxury. That's so nice. You know, maybe the fact that it's not memorable, if this applies to you, is a good thing. It means you're resting and restoring for a whole new year so you can jump back at it January 2nd. But yes, as you were saying, Kelly, for us, that is not the case. It is always action-packed. We started taking annual trips to New York City probably about 5 years ago. It was like a tradition we accidentally started, and we would always go the day after Christmas, the 26th, to the 29th, usually 29th, 30th. And even though I have moved up to the New York City area, we still make that trip happen because I might live here, but the other two girlies don't. No, I lived here last year too.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. And
so
yes,
crazy.
It's otherwise hard to converge. So this week always is kind of the week. Obviously notable, Liz Savage's birthday is December 27th. So it's a great time to celebrate that, doing fun things together. And we had fun. I'm happy to be home. I definitely was really tired. I saw a funny video that was like, I need at least one day a week to rot. And
yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And on the 30th was definitely my day to rot. Fortunately/unfortunately, the Ole Miss Rebels, my alma mater, was playing in the Peach Bowl, which is one of the New Year's Six bowls, which is actually a pretty prestigious honor in the college football community. And that takes place in Atlanta, which is where I live. So lots and lots and lots of Ole Miss people were at the game on the 30th. Matt and I kind of tossed around going, and I literally am so glad we decided not to, because I would have been so dead because it started at noon and I got home like at midnight the night before from, 4 days in New York running around and Christmas before that. So needless to say, glad I didn't do that. Ole Miss did win despite my absence. So shout out, hotty toddy. Hope everyone that did go had a wonderful time.
Hotty toddy, Roll Tide. I saw your story with your chicken strips on the couch. I was like, oh, I'm happy for her. Kelly never misses a party, but what's the saying?
She did.
Ole Miss, they never lose the game.
We often lose the game, but we never lose the party.
There you go.
We may lose the game, but we never win. We may lose the game, but we never lose the party. Yes,
that's the title of this episode. No, it's not. But
it's not. But it could have been. It's notable because the Peach Bowl is sponsored by Chick-fil-A. So they had like literally 50 commercials for Chick-fil-A and like in-game advertising during the Peach Bowl. And it started at noon. So I was watching it and I was like, I want some Chick-fil-A. And like I should honor their sponsorship by going to my local Chick-fil-A, which is about 900 feet from my apartment, and watching the rest of this game while enjoying my chicken strips. So that's what I did.
What fabulous marketing, Chick-fil-A.
Exactly.
They did their job.
They did their job. It all worked out how it was supposed to. So
I hope you're feeling rested and restored. And I hope all that are listening are feeling rested and restored. I'm feeling a little weird. I know I was talking to you yesterday, Kel, about like I was having withdrawals. Like it should be noted, I am back in Hoboken now, living my life. It's going back to normal. My work schedule, if you will, that like doesn't really exist, but my work being back on the audition grind, etc. We'll talk about that more as we wrap up this episode. But I'm feeling really weird. I feel I miss you and Mommy so very much, especially because I feel like I only got a little taste of Mommy. I saw her for Christmas and obviously through the 29th when you left, but I'm just like really feeling so close yet so far away from her. And I think part of it is because I'm currently watching The Act on Hulu in honor of Gypsy Rose Blanchard's freedom.
Yeah.
We're
happy for her. Matt and I watched that in like 2020, I think.
Yeah,
like
I think
right when
it came out.
2019. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but before any of the Gypsy Rose, like before she'd really blown up, like the real life Gypsy. Mm-hmm. And I can't think about it too much. Honestly, this is probably rude for me to be saying, but like I can't think or talk about Gypsy Rose and like what she went through while I'm eating. It like makes me really nauseous.
That's how I felt too while watching this show. It makes me feel queasy. And I also feel bad saying this because it's like, obviously I'm so privileged and, have an amazing family, but I get that completely, that it makes me feel queasy and I can't watch it really at night because I go to bed like feeling like I'm going to have nightmares. So I was watching that. I was having a leisurely morning and watching that as I was rotting in bed post NYE. But I'm just kind of feeling weird these past few days. So I'm excited to kind of get back to the grind, if you will, and distract myself a little bit. Yeah, just happy to be here. Happy to be chatting with you today.
Amazing. Well, for those who don't know, and we'll hit it and quit it, Gypsy Rose is a victim of Munchausen by proxy, which is when like a caregiver or parent makes their child or ward ill for attention. And it's like a legitimate mental disorder, but it obviously ruins the life of whomever their victim is. And this woman did a real number on her daughter, and then her daughter organized her being murdered. So very, very, very riveting, thrilling story. Truly like seems like it's fake, but it's not. I do encourage you to watch it or at least read up on the story, but that's my take on Gypsy Rose, is that I hope she has a wonderful, productive life. I think she served her time for what was obviously a crime where someone died, but deserved. Yeah, maybe. And I can't watch it, with kind of a weak stomach. So with that, we're going to move on before I lose my dinner.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, what'd you have for dinner, by the way? Sorry, I know I'm asking questions that aren't on our agenda, but
that's okay. We have to be flexible. Actually, you inspired me with your picture last night, and I realized that we had some Trader Joe's Parmesan pastry pups in the freezer.
Ooh,
so I poured the rest of our champagne and fired up the pups. Matt has kind of had like a weird stomach bug for the last few days. He thinks he food poisoned himself.
With what? What did he make?
He made chicken, and like this man makes more chicken than like the Tyson Chick-fil-A. Family. Yeah. And I don't mean like Mike Tyson. I mean like the Tyson chicken people.
Right.
But
Tyson Farms.
Like this man knows how to cook some chicken. So I don't like see how he would have gotten it wrong this time. And he like says it wasn't raw and there's no reason that it should have been bad, but we're not sure. He wasn't like getting sick or anything. He just didn't feel great. And it felt kind of like a gastrointestinal issue. I don't know. So he's feeling better though. I'm sure my pastry pups really helped his effort, but this was kind of a unilateral dinner since he was eating light, but he did enjoy a few. So really starting off the new year strong in terms of nutrition, but champagne and pigs in a blanket, honestly,
sounds
my
like
ideal
duo.
Dinner. Yeah.
Girl dinner.
Yes.
Okay.
So
well, with that, we have so much to talk about. So we're going to move on.
Later, we're going to move backwards. Oh, okay.
Hey,
go ahead.
What? No, what are we doing?
Christmas.
Yeah. Move backward. I guess that is a good way to say that. We're mostly in this episode, just FYI, we're going to be talking about our first round of wedding dress shopping, which was kind of the sole purpose of this year's post-Christmas trip.
And to celebrate Liz's birthday, of course, but that was our main activity, perhaps.
yes, kind of took up the bulk of our time. We saw a few shows in there too. We're going to give you a little review as promised. But we're mostly going to be covering the wedding dress shopping, but we can't do that before, we talk about our Christmas shenanigans and our NYC trip.
Right. So
first get right into that.
As we discussed during the Holiday Spectacular Part 2, our annual tradition of our pajama photo shoot. It almost didn't happen. It was like the day before Christmas Eve, Christmas Adam, if you will, when I was running around trying to find any type of fabulous pajamas that I could scrounge up, because there literally wasn't even time to order them online at that point.
Yeah, we had abandoned our mission, as we told you guys.
Right. But we couldn't just like let it go, especially when we're literally living in the same house. And I think that is why it kind of got like it was an afterthought, is because normally we're converging for this event. And like we talk about it and plan it ahead of time. And this time was like, oh, we've been here together for weeks and we just like never thought about it. So yeah. Anyway, Dillard's came through when we needed it to. I did find this pair of pink and red stripe short set, which like I don't really love a short set. I like a nice pajama pant, but they were going to be fine. I was not inspired by them, but I literally was like checking out at Dillard's, like in a weird section too, in the customer service department, because like they didn't have any staff members in the pajama section. And as I turned around to leave with my purchases, I saw these black silky ones, full pants, full sleeves with tigers on them. And they caught my eye, obviously, because I love a pajama with an animal or an animal print. And I trotted over, and I also prefer my pajamas a little larger than like typical streetwear. So like I'm definitely a medium girly in most clothes. I prefer a large pajama. And I think, you're probably like an extra small typically, and you would size up.
No smaller than a medium in PJs.
Right. So the situation wasn't perfect because they only had a small and a medium, but they looked kind of big. So I almost left them behind. I was like, no, I already bought some. Like, I don't need to also buy these. But then I was like, wait, I can't leave. What if Caitlyn doesn't like these other ones? So I purchased those as well. They also had like a sparkle trim to them, which I think really added a little extra level of gorgeous. And when I got them home, you were a fan, and we wound up deciding on the black tiger PJs. Did they have anything to do with Christmas? No, they did not.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. That's kind of the magical irony of this tradition that we've created, is that none of our pajamas are inherently Christmas. They're maybe more wintry or holiday-esque, but the first ones were just, and I'll breeze through this because I know we talked about it. Pink velvet, a blue leopard print, like none of them were made for Christmas, but I think that's just what makes us so unique. We're not like other girls. So I was excited by the black silky leopard
tigers
girlies tiger. I'm sorry. Yes. Tigers. I actually,
sorry. If you haven't seen the Instagram, firstly, what are you doing? Secondly, it's not tiger print. It's literal tigers, like an image from the zoo.
Leaping through the sky. Yeah. Yeah. And actually, I have purchased you a pair of tiger pajamas from the loft many years ago. I know you have. So I think it was time for a new set to come into your life, and my first set of tiger pajamas to come into my life. And let me say, I think they're my favorite pajamas that I own now. Wow. I am actually the opposite of you. As you know, I prefer a shorts and a short sleeve because I get very hot. And I have not taken these pajamas off. Literally, I'm not wearing them right now, but I would be, and I will be tonight. They're perfect. I love them. And the gold sparkle trim, it really did add that touch of holiday. So
amazing. I'm so glad that you like them.
Yeah. One other thing, I know I mentioned this to you, but it was too late to execute. I really wanted to get red ribbon for our hair to maybe like do a half up, half down bow moment. I know bows are like a big trend right now. And I was like, ooh, that would be really cute and, on trend. And maybe we could put some bows on your tree like the TikTok girlies. But we ran out of time and didn't get to do that. But I think that would have been cute.
Yes, I probably would have thought black velvet would match better, but also like you can't see it in our hair. So
no. And red is like that would maybe be an additional
holiday touch
of holiday touch. And your tree is red and gold, has a red and gold motif. So I think that would be pretty.
True. Well,
anyway, until next year.
Well, one other important factor about this year's pajama photo shoot is that our photographer was different. because
yes,
in every year's past, it has been Liz, like, we're making her like lay on the ground, you know, take us from like crazy angles. Normally she starts crying. Then we're like, okay, Brandy Alexander break. Like, let's have our little festive cocktail and then recharge your batteries so you can take 158 more photos. Yeah. Well, this year, because she was staying not at the house and we did not endeavor on the beginnings of our photo shoot until literally midnight, Christmas Eve, the only subject available to take our photo was Matt, who also, he is a kind of cranky meister at night. Like, I'm a night owl and he is definitely more of an early bird. And like, he gets cranky at night. So I was a little nervous.
Yeah, he was giving Scrooge a little bit. But I will say, Matt is a precious gem. He is so patient. Like, he is a very patient and kind person. And I don't think I've ever seen him so cranky. He was like not into it. He was not having it with either of us. He was like petitioning it. Like, he would take one picture and be like, here. And you were like, no, Matt, obviously we need to take multiple pictures and from multiple angles, and we're going to switch poses. Like, this is
we're going to need you to lay on the ground and tilt the camera up while we're on the ground. Exactly. Like, you know what
you're walking into.
Right. Well, I think he thought maybe we had forgotten or something. Yeah, I know.
Oh, to take a picture and like
join a union if you don't like it. But there's no union in this house. Only at my place of work. Anyway, we got the pic. To be fair, Matt, who's also like in the other room, probably listening to me talk shit right now, I don't think he had any problem with our execution of the photo shoot. He's not impatient when it comes to taking pictures, and I really don't ask him to do that a lot. It was just the time of evening. Like, he is like wanting to be in bed and being asleep, and so it wasn't so much having to take the pictures. It was just like the time of evening. And you know, our witching hour is definitely like 9 p.m. on, and not his witching hour, but we got it done. No. And I think it all worked out. And the likes are kind of still trickling in like 6 days later. So
I was going to say, not to be like a total egomaniac pick me girl, but the engagement was like kind of low. Like, I'm just going to, like, I'm being truthful and honest.
Oh, I thought you meant my engagement to Matt. And I was like, really?
Oh my gosh. That's sad. That would be so rude.
I know. I was like, really?
Your engagement was really lame.
That's
Monica, are you serious?
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was actually a little bit iconic, but okay.
To each their own. You're entitled to your wrong opinion.
Yeah, exactly. No, the engagement on our Christmas picture, I would agree. Well, although the likes did not come as fast and furious as they typically do, they did show up. Like, we did perform okay in that department, but very limited comments. And I'll be honest, it wasn't our very best work. Last year was a hit, and we put a lot more, you know, planning into it. So like, you get what you get into it, what you get out of it, what you put into it. So I respect everyone, you know, not giving away likes and comments for free. But yeah, it wasn't our best work, but I think we still pulled it off. And I think those who were looking appreciated that we did, you know, show up this year. Hopefully.
Yeah, what a great way to look at it. There's always a silver lining. We know that the engagement and the meaning the comments and likes that we do get are deserving.
Meaningful.
Our fans. Yeah. And they're, just as you said, they are not handing them out willy-nilly for free. They're not going to boost our ego unless we deserve it. And for that, we are grateful.
Yep, so absolutely.
That's it on that.
Another holiday tradition we mentioned last time around was our annual visit to Carrabba's. The schedule did have a little shakeup this year because we were in Atlanta for the first time. Caitlyn was also being a star ensemblist in White Christmas. So we built that into our Christmas Eve day plans. So we saw the matinee, the final show of White Christmas. And yes. And I was there with our parents, and then Matt and his parents came. So we had quite the crew, and we all got to see Caitlyn at the stage door, which was lovely. And then we went on our way. We actually went to Christmas Eve Mass at the Buckhead Cathedral, which we thought we were going to miss. And there was no way we were going to get a seat. And we actually got a seat for the whole group in the back pew. And it was super easy. Like, everything just kind of worked out really nicely. And the cathedral was absolutely stunning. I'm not that big into church, but it was a beautiful venue for, the holiday. And I made it through Mass just fine. Although,
amen.
For any Catholic girlies out there, apparently they changed the words a few years ago. I can't even give you an example. Yeah, we'll have to. I'll have to look it up. No, exactly. And my mom and Matt were both like, "Oh, it was like many years ago. Like you got to get with it." I'm like,
"You bad
Catholic." Okay. Well, I went to CCD, which is, I don't even know what that stands for, but it's like Catholic Sunday school, except it's in the middle of the week. Every single week from first grade to, I guess, communion. So like 8th grade, 9th grade, where they teach you what to say.
2nd grade.
Or, confirmation. Sorry.
Confirmation.
It's been a while. But yeah, okay. So that was at like 15 years old. So like for more than 10 years, every single week we had to go to Catholic Sunday school, where you learn what to say in Mass and what it all means and your prayers and all that. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you can just change that. I didn't get the press release or like the email that instructed me on what to say differently. So like, I'm not trying to be obstinate. I'm just saying like, I don't think it's my fault that I don't know what is different, considering I literally attended the classes and this is not what they taught.
Right. Like, I'm sorry. Is there a universal Catholic newsletter that's going out that we're not receiving? Because like, what is an addendum? You can't just make an addendum to the Bible. Or like, I know it's not the Bible, but like what the order of events, the rules of Catholic Mass. That's so wrong. And that's honestly so exclusive. How are you supposed to welcome back lost members of the church if they come back and they don't recognize the practices?
Now, I'm all for evolution in a few ways. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I have some mixed feelings on the whole thing. And just with that, I wasn't exactly sure what I was supposed to be saying. Everyone else seemed to know. So I guess I missed that. But it was lovely nonetheless. We made it on time. And then we got in the car and we went to Carrabba's. And Matt's family was able to join us for that. It was the bringing of two families into one of our only traditions, which was lovely. We had a wonderful waiter named Jordan who took great care of us. Mm-hmm. We enjoyed our mezzaluna ravioli and red sangria, as we do. And then we transitioned into our Brandy Alexander's and pajama photo shoot. And I think it was a lovely Christmas Eve and, transition into Christmas Day.
Yeah. And that was a wrap on Christmas Eve. But Christmas morning / afternoon was so very lovely. And it added a cute little extra holiday flair that we got to be accompanied by Matt's parents and Matt the entire morning. Matt really got to witness like how do I say this? It was like his first step into like becoming truly family was that he was forced to endure the Savage sister, the Savage family unboxing. Yes.
Which, like, for those who haven't been there, which is actually no one, it takes us hours. Like we draw this out for hours in the morning. It's not that there's like that many gifts. I mean, there are a lot typically because Liz is literally out here wrapping like hair ties, which I love slip hair ties. So if you're listening,
we appreciate it. I know every family does things differently. We know families that have 3 kids and each kid gets a certain wrapping paper. Personally, that's not us. Our mom is an expert gift wrapper. She is literally an elf. Yeah. She is a North Pole workshop elf. And she makes the most beautiful packages. And Kelly.
That's like part of the fun.
I think. Yeah, absolutely. Kelly, you have adopted her skills. You learn from the best. And you were ahead of your game this year. You had all of your things wrapped so far in advance, so we got to enjoy them under the tree. And because they are so beautiful and we want to enjoy them, we go around one at a time. And I'm usually the gift distributor. I'm the Christmas morning elf.
Chairman.
And yes, I pick one up and I say, okay, this one's for Kelly. Everybody admire the package.
Wow, and we all have it's so beautiful.
The package.
The beautiful ribbon.
We do a 360. We have to enjoy every single aspect of it. And then we unwrap and we talk about it and we thank our respective family member for gifting that gift. And then we move on. That being said, that is like probably a 4 to 5 minute process for each gift. It's going to take a while. So,
and then there's mimosa breaks. There's typically an intermission for cinnamon rolls. And notably, this was Matt and I have been together as a couple now for 6 years. This was our first Christmas spent together, which
you guys are devoted to your families, your siblings. Yeah.
But you
don't think you're getting away anytime soon.
Been there for Christmas, but he's gone to North Carolina most years. So yes, this was our first Christmas together, and I was very grateful for both families for changing it up, and being adaptable to new traditions and transitions in this chapter. And we had a wonderful time. But I think it is maybe interesting. I don't know. What was your favorite Christmas gift that you received? Or
So I didn't provide anybody a Christmas list, which was highly inconvenient for everybody. And I want to apologize on air to my family for doing such a thing that was not very thoughtful, even though it's like, I mean, I was just like, I don't really need anything, just, whatever you think. Okay, what I really wanted and needed were a new pair of headphones. And I have been falling in love with the idea of having, of course, the new trendy hot Apple product, the AirPods Max, which are not AirPods, but over-the-head headphones that all the cool Gen Zs have.
Yeah, why do they call them AirPods Max if they're like literally not even pods?
I'm still rather confused by that. I guess because they're like trying to stick with their line of like headphones, like sure. AirPods Pro, AirPods Max, and like the iPhone Pro Max. Like, I guess it's just their verbiage they use, but it's very misleading. Though. Yeah. And so I had mentioned that in passing, and it's quite an expensive ask. So I didn't, of course, like ask anyone directly to like, please provide me that for Christmas. But my loving and kind and generous family came through, and that was under the tree for me at Christmas. And I was so just taken back and so grateful, and I am loving them. So that's not only my favorite Christmas gift, but my current favorite. I'm actually wearing them right now as we podcast. This is the first time podcasting in them, and they're so comfortable. They are so noise canceling. It's crazy. You don't I think you do get an option, actually. I was going to say you don't even get an option for it to not be noise canceling, but you do. And I was actually just at Panera doing some work on my computer, and I couldn't hear anything. There was a very loud, noisy family with lots of children behind me, and I couldn't hear a thing. It was amazing, and it really helped me focus.
Wow.
Also, just like side note about Panera, I recognize and have made this realization that Panera only hits when you eat it at Panera.
Yeah. 100%.
Like you can't take Panera home, particularly the salads. You can take the soup home. The soup and the bread, that is transferable. The salads are whack when they put them in to-go containers because they give you like the dressing on the side, and I think it's a smaller portion. The bowl, I mean, any to-go salad is just inconvenient. Like, it just never hits the same. Like, a prepared salad in the restaurant is the way to go. Anyway, I digress. The AirPods Max are amazing. They really are worth the hype. They're so comfortable. And I was literally, while I was doing my work, I was hearing words in songs that I've never heard before. Like, it was one of the newer Taylor Swift songs from not New Romantics, what's it called? 1989, that I'm still trying to familiarize myself with the lyrics. And I was like, that's what that says? I was like, oh, that is not what I was hearing before. Wow. And so I feel like I can only credit it to the amazing audio quality that is the AirPod Max. So
wow, that's amazing. Well, one thing I caution you on, I'm sure you've heard about it, thought about it, is like, please be careful walking the streets of New York or on the subway with those, just because, situational awareness is really important. And like, while noise canceling is great, being able to make sure you know what's going on around you, especially when you're alone, like even out in public, like, I just don't want you to drown too much sound out and not be able to know if there's like an ambulance behind you or like someone running at you, coming to attack you,
Of course. When I walk, I like to put it in the transparency mode. So it actually kind of heightens the outside noise, or I turn off noise canceling for that exact reason. And also, I guess there's this thing. I told Liz that like this wasn't a thing, and I don't even think she saw it on the internet. I think she came up with this in her own mind as just being like a concerned mother. But there are cases of like people riding by on bikes and like snatching them off your head because they're very valuable.
That sounds like something that isn't happening. Or do you think it is happening?
Someone on TikTok was like said that apparently happened, or they witnessed that happen. So
Liz,
the rumor is true apparently, but I'm not going to live in fear.
Well, Liz has also been really concerned, and she said it like 18 times while we were in New York, that my finger was going to get cut off with my engagement ring on it because someone was going to want the valuable diamond. And she kept being like, turn your ring around.
Cut off.
turn your ring around. And at one point I was like, hey, Mom, I don't think there's any cartel members walking on the streets of Soho that are going to walk by with a like machete or switchblade and literally chop my finger off so that they can have my ring. Like there's just easier ways to make money.
But they're going to take your little finger and put it and preserve it. Not what if they don't want your ring, but they want your finger? Now that's
I don't know what to do about that. Yeah, but I hope you enjoy your AirPods and that they don't get stolen off your head.
Thank you. Me
I'm
too.
hopeful that.
What is your favorite Christmas?
Well, take a step backwards. What was your second favorite gift? And you might not know. Well, I'm projecting what it was, but it's one that I got you that you weren't expecting that is also still here at my house in a big box.
OMG, guys. Kelly bought us, I should say, a mobile spray. It's okay. Let me rephrase that. It's a spray tan machine. I jumped the gun and I ruined that reveal. It's a spray tan machine. It's not a mobile spray tan machine. It's
it's like a legitimate spray tan machine.
Studio grade spray tan machine. The Norvell one, of course, because we stand Norvell in this house.
Yep.
And I'm so excited. I've been saying for years how I want to learn how to spray tan. I think it's a life skill, especially a skill for our life that would come in handy both for personal benefit, but also the benefit of my friends and mostly you. So I've been saying it for years, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to I've asked Kelly to sponsor a spray tan machine. You were like, yeah. And then we never got around to it. And so this was such a fun surprise. It came out of nowhere because I feel like we haven't
talked about it in a while. No.
Yeah.
And honestly came out of nowhere for me too. Like I ordered that like 5 days before Christmas. It just like popped in my brain. Actually, no, I'll tell you why I ordered it. I know exactly what was floating through my brain, but go on.
No, let's hear it. I'm thrilled.
Oh, well, I'm thrilled that you're thrilled because it is somewhat a selfish gift, but also like you had asked for this. You had asked for me to sponsor the fledgling the beginnings of your business, if you will, because
I think I mentioned this actually in our first episode. I was like, I'm an aspiring spray tan artist because I came across the sugared and bronzed job listing, and I was like, maybe I should apply, then free spray tans, and I would learn how to do it, and I've always wanted to, et cetera, et cetera. So that was mostly a joke, but a little bit serious. And I have always especially in college, I was like, I really should start a spray tan business. It's certainly, I probably know how to do it better than a lot of spray tan artists. Not to be cocky, but
no, it's not that hard
too.
It's not that hard, and I'm sorry to anyone who's a spray tan professional. If you think we're insulting your work, I appreciate what you do because I would not want to see gross randos like me naked all the time. But the actual art of spray tan, it's just not that hard, especially if you have solution that is going on with bronzer that you can see. So
you can learn on YouTube. So
or just by getting 1 or 5 done. We've had about 1 million, so you know what happens and you know what to do. Anyway. Yeah. I was thinking about myself in this gift because I was thinking, where am I going to get spray tan for my wedding? Who's going to spray tan me? When am I going to do that? Because you have to be in a certain city. I wouldn't want to be using someone for the first time. I don't really have a go-to place in Orlando where I'm getting married. I don't know that I'd be in Orlando early enough to get it done. And I was like, how can I solve this problem? And I thought, multi-prong solution, spray tan solution. And that would be to buy a machine so that you could spray tan me yourself for the wedding, because we know that the Norvell solution looks good on us and doesn't do weird things, because I have some spray tan businesses or people that I've used that I really like them, or I like the way they spray, but the solution itself fades on me weird. And we know that's not true with Norvell. And I know that you would care literally more than anyone else on the entire planet that we get it just right for this particular event. And the only way I could ensure success is to take matters into our own hands and follow through with the desire that I knew that you had, which was to have a commercial grade spray tan machine of your own. Wow. So mission accomplished.
Well, that's truly very meaningful. And amongst my current state of, instability when it comes to jobs, I'm grateful to know that I have a job in March of 2025 that is guaranteed. It might not be paid.
I'll pay you.
Some purpose.
I'll pay you for the spray tan. I mean, I feel like I should definitely get a discount considering I bought the machine and the solution. But I think your labor is worthy of compensation.
All right. Well, we'll talk. But in the meantime, let's hear about your favorite Christmas gifts.
Yes. So number one, my keyboard. Matt loves a practical Christmas present. And
don't we know it?
Yep, we do. We sure do. And this year I was #blessed and grateful to receive a Apple Mac, I guess those are redundant, Magic keyboard. One might say, Kelly, why did you need a keyboard? And the answer is because I have a MacBook and I bought it in September of 2019. And they apparently are aware that the keys pop off of the keyboard. And you might say, well, that seems like something Apple should fix. And you would be right, except my Apple Care ran out. And they pretty much told me to jump in front of traffic when I brought it into them. And they were like, oh, yeah, we realize that that's a flaw of our design, but sorry, you're going to have to buy a new computer. So rather than do that, even though like, can I afford a new computer? Yeah, sure. I have not done that. I have, but my keys have stopped working. So my E key does not work. My I, N, and another key are also like starting to go. But for the last close to a year, I have not had a functional E key. And if you didn't know, my own name has 2 E's in it. So I have to copy and paste an E into every single word or phrase where an E is required, which has led me to have to like relearn how to type with a copy paste as the function for E. Very impractical, especially when your whole job is on the computer and writing emails and whatnot. So anyway, rather than doing something about it myself for the last 9 months, I've just complained and learned how to copy paste E's. So Matt, being the solution-oriented man he was, purchased me a Magic keyboard and a Magic mouse. So I plugged them in today to get them set up before I return to work tomorrow, and they really are going to change the game for me. So shout out to Matt for my keyboard that I absolutely could have purchased myself and just refused to do. He kind of forced the matter, and it has already improved the quality of my life. Less practical, my Ultra Mini platform Uggs. So I can be like a cool.
They're extremely practical. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, Liz actually, she claims that she bought exactly what I sent her, but she didn't. She bought the mini Uggs, and that's okay because I do think that it was the Dillard sales girl's fault. But I think I really wanted the Ultra Mini, but I am kind of like unsure. And I went to, and I thought they were the wrong size, but I brought them to Dillard today. They're actually the right size, and I went with the Ultra Mini. But then I looked back at the photo, and I'm wondering if I should have just stuck with the Mini. But I like the color on the Ultra Mini better, even though it says that they're the same. They kind of look different. So I'm kind of waffling, but I'm excited because the Uggs I've been wearing this winter are the classic from, wait for it, 2008 is when I suspect that these Uggs made their appearance in my life. 8th grade, maybe
they're
even
so
earlier.
Droopy.
Yeah, so I've had my Uggs since like 2008, and they only just get worn around the house or like to Chick-fil-A for my chicken strip.
Your house slippers.
Yeah, pretty much. But I knew that all the cool kids were wearing the small Uggs, and I wanted to look like the cool kids when I like wore my leggings outside and not, age myself. So that's why I asked for those. I'm really excited about them. I am kind of waffling between the Mini and the Ultra Mini, but I did a hard send commitment to the Ultra Mini today. I'm a little worried that my ankles are going to get cold because I have the 7/8 leggings.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
The cool kids are wearing socks with the Ultra Mini Uggs. You wear like a little, like a tall white sock so you can cover the little ankle part.
That's what I was thinking because I have a pair of black sparkly socks I was planning to do that with, but I wasn't sure if that was a thing. So good to know. Good to know. Okay. Last one was the sparkle bag that you got me from Amazon, cute. Which I borrowed yours for a Christmas party, and some trash girl, no offense to trash people, she just was really scary looking, asked me if I got it on Amazon, and I wasn't sure, but I was like, no, probably not. I was like, no. And then she's like, really? Because I have it and it's from Amazon. I was like, oh, okay, well, it's not. Bye. And then I got home and you told me it was actually from Amazon. But I love it. I wore it for New Year's Eve last night, and it was so cute, and it matched my outfit perfectly. So thank you.
Cute. I wore mine for New Year's Eve too. We were twinning.
Twins. So things I didn't get for Christmas, though, for the first time in forever, a coat.
Oh my God. Don't even get us started about the coats of Christmas past.
Yeah. There's so many coats. I literally have like my coat closet. I have more coats than probably any article of clothing, which is insane for someone who has lived in Florida most of her life, but like I just look better in outerwear. I don't know how else to put it. I look better with more clothes on.
Like American Girl dolls.
Yeah, exactly. That's it, precisely. Didn't get a coat this year because I didn't ask for one, but I did buy myself a coat in Italy in October, and it was expensive, and it kind of caused a fight between Matt and I, not because I was buying it, because he thought we were going to miss our train. Spoiler alert, we didn't. And I don't regret anything. It was the best purchase of all time. How many compliments did I get in New York with that blue coat?
Yeah, so many. And they were well-deserved. It's a beautiful jewel-toned coat. It's electric blue. The fur is so beautiful. It's fox fur. It's really stunning. The best coat you have. And you have a lot of beautiful coats. So saying
wow. Thank you. And I got it at such a great price in Florence. We call her Flo because her birthplace is Florence, Italy.
Flo. Okay, well, I think that segues us into kind of a little recap of our NYC trip.
Where I was wearing the blue coat.
Yeah, exactly. So it must be noted, I know we addressed this on Instagram, we traveled with 10 bags between the two of us, not even including Liz's.
No, that was also including Liz's.
Oh, okay. 3 bags between 3 little girls. No, I'm sorry, 10 bags between 3 little girls. And that does not even include our belt bags that we had across our chest as part of the outfit, of course. And it's a miracle. They all arrived successfully. There was no
drama.
Thomas
Oh
Perkins.
my God. Wait a minute. We did not
have
even
to save this for another episode. We do, but it's revealed Thomas Perkins has been returned. That is now the official name of that
Caitlyn's
carry-on suitcase. Thomas has arrived. I don't know if Thomas Perkins got his original bag back.
We have to at least give the people the 30-second version. Caitlyn's suitcase was missing for 6 weeks because American Airlines lost it, and we had lost all hope that it would ever be recovered. It was her carry-on, so it had all the most important things: makeup, favorite clothes, whatever. Yeah. Thought it was a goner, and literally showed up at my house like 2 days before Christmas. It was a Christmas miracle.
Yeah. It was crazy, and I was so excited. Now I have a double the makeup routine that I had when I replaced all the makeup, and I've got my favorite jeans back, so that's exciting. So I mean, truly nothing more to say than it was a Christmas miracle, but maybe we'll elaborate in another time.
Right. But that's why we were a little squirrely about the checked bags, is because we just had a really traumatic experience.
Yeah, for sure. So once we somehow got into the city with our 10 plus bags, we stopped at the hotel where we were staying for those few nights. And where did we end up? None other than QB.
Quality Bistro.
Quality Bistro.
I think we said we weren't going to go this time. And then when I realized we actually didn't have dinner reservations for the 26th, guess who was there waiting for us with a 5 o'clock reservation pre-theater? Our good friends at Quality Bistro.
And they did not disappoint. Okay, no. We got our usuals, spicy of course, bistro spritz, spicy Caesar, filet, we got the strip steak frites this time.
We really changed it up from our typical filet au poivre to a strip steak au poivre.
Of course, you got to keep them on their toes. To top it all off, we were surprised with a butter service. That is a delicacy of Quality Bistro, but this was no ordinary butter service. This was a birthday butter service. And what does that entail? A huge heap of butter in the shape of a mountain.
Buttercream.
Yeah, so usually it's butter if it's the normal butter service, but this one was buttercream. It was like not even buttercream frosting, like butter, creamed butter. That was like sweet.
I think it was buttercream frosting.
Okay, well.
It was like dessert buttercream, whatever. Yeah.
Arguable, and it came with these little confetti madeleines, and it was so delicious. They were and warm and salty and sweet. It was so good. Probably the best, like one of the best desserts I've ever had, which is
and they brought it out for Liz's birthday, which we didn't ask them to do. Like we were actually in a rush to the theater, but Open Table asks you, are you celebrating anything? And we were, so I had put birthday, but I didn't say anything. I didn't ask them to bring out a birthday dessert. Literally no mention was made. We got to the table. They had a card on the table, a happy birthday card for Liz.
Mm-hmm. And then from the get-go.
Several people came over to tell her happy birthday. And then as we were we'd already signed the check. So they weren't even doing this to boost their tip return. They were wait, we have something. And they came out with the cold sparks and this really elaborate, delicious dessert. And they were so kind, and Liz loved it. And I was also so grateful because I think that butter service is $40 or something.
Yeah, it's really expensive. And we definitely got a mini sized version, but we don't need more than that. It was just enough for all 3 of us.
Perfect.
And we had actually seen, like we were talking about, oh, we need to do butter service one day, but like 3 people isn't enough to like go all in for that. And we got a little taste, and it was special for the birthday, and it was just so wonderful. They're just that hospitable. So another point for Quality Bistro.
Yep, no one's shocked. We also had a lovely discussion with Matthew, their sommelier.
Oh yeah.
He came over to discuss wines with us. We always go with the Gamay there. But I asked him, I said, oh, do you know much? Or I think I just said like, we were talking about French wines because it's like a pseudo French restaurant. And he was a wealth of knowledge because, oh my gosh, we could go on forever. Matt and I booked a trip to Paris for my 30th birthday in April.
So exciting.
Yeah, and I've never been, and I'm really excited. And I think we might try to go somewhere else during the trip too, like either Champagne, which is a region, or Bordeaux or Burgundy during the week. So I wanted to pick Matthew, the Somm's brain about where to go, what to do. He highly recommended Champagne, gave me like several specific recommendations on where to go, where to stay, all the things. So grateful. They were so cool. And then Liz picked generous. His brain. We were both like, oh my God, Mom. Because she was like, hey, what about these Trader Joe's wines? And we were like, oh my God, like, can you not, please? Like,
yeah, let's not be tacky. Liz isn't tacky, but like, it was a questionable comment.
Well, yeah, we're just like, oh my God, he's
to
probably
the
like, yeah, right. And no, he was like, oh my God, they have a great wine program, and but like knew all about it, was not at all judgy, was super down to earth and cool. So yeah, whatever. Like if you know you like something, don't let anyone stop you. Quality Bistro rocks. And if you're in New York, go.
Savage says, be bold in 2024. Speak your truth.
Be bold and go to the same restaurants that you always go to if you like them.
Definitely. And on that note, we actually did diversify our catalog a little bit this trip. So we have jotted down just the list of places we dined throughout these 3 days in order of appearance. So after the next day, we had lunch at the Pierre, which is in the Upper East Side. And
it's a hotel off of Central Park.
Yes.
It's directly across from the plaza. The restaurant's actually called Perrine, but it's at the Pierre Hotel. And it was good, but I wouldn't necessarily rush to go back. I think the atmosphere, I was hoping for a little bit more zhuzh on the atmosphere, and they did have like a really cool drawing room, but the restaurant itself kind of left some I thought the service was really good and everything we had tasted really good, but the atmosphere was a little lackluster for what you were paying for it. I think
it was a little old country club, which is lovely, but just different than I think what we were hoping for. But speaking of this lunch and the Upper East Side, I'll keep this brief, but we are often asked, do you guys ever fight? Do you guys always get along? You guys seem so close. It's so cool that you're doing this podcast and you guys are just like closer than ever. And yes, all this is true. We are probably each other's favorite people. Don't argue, even if that's not true. But
depends on the day, but go ahead.
Don't get it twisted. Like, don't let us fool you. We fight just like every other pair of siblings, maybe more because we are so close. Like, we get into it. And this day was not one of my finest moments. The hour prior, I was like literally falling asleep at the wedding dress shopping appointment. I was so tired. All of us had been kind of like going. We closed White Christmas. We had Christmas. And then the 26th, we got on a plane and jetted to New York. So we were all just kind of running low on energy. And I think all of my adrenaline was wearing out and I was very tired. So I was a little grumpy. Okay. And I already don't really love getting my picture taken unless I'm like in the mood and I'm prepared for it. I have camera anxiety, which is ridiculous because again, as we've covered, like we are attention whores.
And you're a professional performer.
Yeah, but, right. Like okay. I should have no problem with like attention. I have no problem seeking attention. Anyway, I get weird and shy around the camera. So we were outside in the cold. We were walking a long way. We were almost to our destination and we were walking past the plaza. And of course, Mom, understandably so, is like, please turn around. Let me get a picture. And
Because we were both in our pretty coats. Caitlin had on a pretty pink coat. I had my pretty blue coat. It was also Liz's birthday.
I know.
So I was really trying to exercise some patience.
Okay, but to be fair, let me stand up for myself a little bit and throw you under the bus. You were also trying to get like Liz to take the picture, and Liz was like, no, I don't want to be in the picture. And we were like, please just get in the picture. And if we were like squabbling at each other, and finally I was like, please don't make me take this picture. Like, I don't want to, I don't feel cute. And she's like, it's not going to be posted. But I was like, no, please stop. And I just kind of like went off and yelled at everyone, and I stormed away. And then, Kelly made a comment about me like being bitchy and whiny, and that set me off, and I turned around and I swung her Chanel purse at her, and I was ready to yeah
emphasis on my
important
purse.
Note. It was her purse. It was her Chanel purse that she graciously allowed me to use that day, and I had the audacity to come swinging at her with it. It was one of those circumstances, which I later explained after we had all cooled down and we had said our apologies. It was like one of those moments where you feel like your words can't get through to the person that you're trying to speak to or get through to, that my only instinct was to get physically violent, which I will say again, I'm so sorry. Violence is never the answer. But in the moment, my instincts could not help. I was like, ah! Like I unleashed the beast. And then I got upset because I didn't, of course, like mean or want to do that. And so then instead of being like, I'm so sorry, I was like, everyone's annoying. And then I ran away and was crying at myself because I had made such a mean gesture, and at everyone else for not understanding me. And it was just a whole big scene. And then I was yelling on the streets of New York, and like the passerbyers of the plaza were like definitely rubbernecking, like, what is this crazy girl doing? What's going on? A lot of tears were involved. Kelly was the mature sister in this situation, and for the sake of our mother, got over it quickly and went on pretending like nothing was wrong, which I can't say the same. I pouted at lunch the entire time, and I had to excuse myself a few times to go to the restroom. Also, this is where our differences come in that you're emotional, but you don't often let your emotions take over. You can pull it together very quickly, whereas I am very sensitive and very emotional, and I like once I start crying, it's hard for me to stop. And so I was kind of at that point, but I was also like couldn't swallow my pride and like admit that I was being wrong. So I was just like being a pouty wench, and I like low-key ruined lunch, but I came around, and eventually we moved on, and we made our we hugged it out, and we were fine an hour and a half later when we went to go see Titanic.
We sent, so Caitlin, she got through lunch, and then
I flew off the
home.
handle.
Yeah. And you're right. I was gracious and moved on from it. I also was
okay, but I generously skipped over your wrongdoings in this scenario. You weren't a perfect angel.
I don't recall what those were.
Well, I'll get past it because my behavior trumped your behavior negatively.
I would agree. So
I won't go there, but
what we were saying is, or what I was trying to say was, you were very tired, even still at lunch, falling asleep. So we sent you home for a little power nap, and Liz and I trotted around the pier to see what was what and just kind of explore the hotel while you took a very brief nap. And then I was very kind and brought you a latte on the way back up. And we did a hard reset of nap, latte, refresh, makeup and clothes. And then we went to Kleinfeld, and I think the day turned around from there.
Definitely. It was definitely better. Other places we dined were San Carlo Osteria.
I think it's Osteria, but yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's so embarrassing.
I went to Italy.
Osteria.
Yeah, rhymes with hysteria. No, I believe it's Osteria, but I went to Italy once, so I know everything. Shout out to them. They were also lovely. Really enjoyed our meal. That was in Soho, but they also, like, again, I think we mentioned in passing very casually, like, oh yeah, it's our mom's birthday, which it was that night. And we were the last people in the restaurant. We were like, they are definitely wanting us to get out of here. And no, they played the happy birthday song over the loudspeaker. They brought out the cold sparks. They did a whole thing with the tiramisu we ordered. Very kind people. Would definitely check it out if you're in New York and looking for an Italian restaurant in Soho. San Carlo.
They gave us an extra glass of wine too.
They did, yeah. San Carlo Osteria. Wonderful experience. And that was our first time. As you know, we don't always go to a lot of new places because we like our tried and trues, but that was new and it was a good experience.
Yes, it was wonderful. Another place Liz and I went because, just funny aside, Kelly had to sit through what was it? A timeshare presentation.
Yeah.
At the Hilton. But you know what? She got a free cruise, so.
I did. I got a deep discount on our room in New York that I paid for like a year ago, and also got a 3 or 4 night Royal Caribbean cruise that Matt and I will be taking sometime this year. So it was worth
Shout out to
my
the cruise lines
2.5 hours and fortitude to resist buying a $40,000 timeshare that is actually not in my journey right now.
It's ridiculous that $40,000 needs to go to a whole wedding. So good choice.
Well, yeah, I couldn't tell them that because you're not supposed to like be in a live-in relationship. Otherwise, you're like not eligible.
What did they say? A partnership, a live-in relationship.
Yeah,
so
or
funny.
You can't cohabitate. And technically, I live in Florida still. So anyway,
so who are timeshares made for then? Like single bachelors?
No,
bachelorettes?
No. Like I could do it if Matt was there. We just like
I see. I see. Okay.
We could have a whole other episode about that. We have to move on. But I did. Yeah. You went to lunch because I was at the timeshare presentation eating a bag of Lay's to survive.
Yes. We went to Jack's Wife Frida, which I have personally been to many times. It was Liz's first time. It's a great place for lunch, specifically brunch. They have like an all day breakfast moment. Some fun cocktails. I definitely wouldn't suggest it for dinner. It's a Mediterranean forward little cafe. Great unique options, but would skip it for dinner. We went to Beauty in Essex that night, which was so fun. I had never been. I know you had been in Vegas, right, Kel?
Yes, I've been twice in Vegas for like business dinners. Obviously, I was the one who organized the business dinner, choosing to go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like kind of trendy forward American small plates. And we didn't love our waitress, but the food was great.
Yeah, the service was subpar, but it was a really fun experience, and I'd love to go back.
Remember when at 8 p.m. they told me they were out of wine glasses?
Savage says, what are you doing? Like, I'm sorry. That's impossible. It's a Saturday night or whenever it was.
It was Saturday, yeah, I think.
In New York City. Like, you think you ran out of wine glasses? Like, go to the dishwasher.
Savage says, go wash one out.
Say that.
I don't know. And so
it was just
I was
bizarre.
Like, well, and that was after I'd ordered a glass of wine and then asked 3 other people where it was. And we were trying to get an extra glass to share the glass of wine, which they didn't indicate was a problem at all. And then we were told, we're out of wine glasses. Like it wasn't even like, hey, this is so embarrassing, but we're out of wine glasses. It was like very much like, oh yeah, we're out of wine glasses. And I think she saw my just like my whole body language change because I was like, what? I don't even know what to say to you.
That's a lie. Like, I'm sorry, that was a lie.
It was a lie because literally 20 seconds later after I was like, that doesn't seem like it could be possible, she procured a different kind of red wine glass, albeit, and was like, oh, we have this one, but it's not for this type of wine. I said, I don't give a shit, for lack of a better phrase. Like, give me the option. If I want to like opt out of like not the appropriate type of red wine glass, fine. But like, just why don't you get me a glass and let me turn it away rather than tell me you're out of wine glasses? That was literally insane.
Yeah, and it was so nonchalant too, as you said. Like, it was just, the whole thing was crazy. But otherwise, good experience. I would go back.
Yeah, I would go back. I just don't want her again.
Yeah, no, thank you. The next day, we went to lunch at La Pecora Bianca, which means the little white sheep, right?
The white sheep, yeah.
The white sheep, but it's little in my head.
Yeah.
And that's a tried and true. It never misses. It's so good. It's Italian, but in like a modern upscale environment. They have many, many locations across the city. We went to the Bryant Park one. Liz enjoyed herself. I was reminded of the deliciousness that is a Hugo Spritz, which is Prosecco and Saint Germain elderflower liqueur. so good. That ended up being my New Year's Eve drink of choice.
Wow.
And I don't regret it. Yeah.
I love
and then
their limoncello margarita, which is kind
spicy
of random.
limoncello.
Spicy limoncello margarita. Highly recommend. Just really well balanced, delicious midday cocktail.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. So great. That was a great final meal. And then you and Liz got into some fun, right?
Yeah. We flew back to our respective homes, me to Atlanta, Liz to New York, Jacksonville from LaGuardia, which has had a recent wonderful glow up. And we were both flying Delta. And we were there with like an hour to spare. So I took her for her first whirl through the Delta Sky Club. And LaGuardia has a really nice one. So like some of the Sky Clubs, some of the airport lounges in general are just very mid and you're not missing anything. But the LaGuardia one is big and new and nice. I will say that the dinner selections or like the food they had out seemed a little bit like they were kind of cleaning out the freezer or something. And like the dessert selections were not what they normally are. So I was a little disappointed for her in that regard, just so she could see the full Monty. I've been to that one before where they have like a hot dog cart set up in addition to everything else, like just some fun novelties. It was a little bare bones, but it wasn't too crowded, and she really enjoyed the experience and couldn't believe everything was free. So we had ourselves,
quote unquote,
yeah, free. We're in paying for it one way or the other, but free in that moment. And I was glad to be able to share that experience with her before we parted ways.
Yes, I've never had the pleasure. Maybe one day.
Besides eating, we did do some shopping. I hate to do this to everyone, but we are going to have to come back to the wedding dress shopping because we need to give it the time that it's due, and we don't have it right now. But we're going to follow shortly thereafter with like a special or something. We don't want to keep this from
sorry
the
for the
people.
clickbait.
Yeah, no, this wasn't the plan.
And it doesn't need to be rushed through. We have so much to talk about and so much to say. Who could have thought that? So we're going to have to come back and give it its full attention and the effort and time that it deserves. Yes. But other shopping that we did was actually not as like fruitful is not the right word, but like not as we didn't focus on it very much. We usually have more goodies that we come home with from the trip than we did this time just because of time's sake.
Well, and that's really not so bad because honestly, I think both of our closets are like literally busting at the seams.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was shook to hear about, well, you were after a black puffy coat and I was shook to hear about how you acquired one. Yeah.
So one of the things that has been on my wish list for like a year and a half now, I almost bought it last January, but then I was like, you know what? Like, not winter's almost over, but I was like, I'll wait till next year. Like I'm doing fine with the few jackets that I have. Few, again, quote unquote. But what I did not have was a black, just everyday basic black coat. I was always wanting to reach for that and I just didn't have it. So something that's been on my wish list is the Aritzia Super Puff. And after doing some digging, I don't know what the name of it is actually called, the name of the fabric, but they have all different styles. But I like the ones that's kind of like, it looks like faux leather. It almost looks like velvet.
It's a really nice sheen, yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah, but it's black and like kind of shiny. And I knew that was exactly the one I wanted in the cropped version. So I say to Liz, I'm like, oh, let's go search for that while Kelly's in the timeshare presentation, if you don't mind. So I took us to the Aritzia Soho, but we were stopped in our tracks because I remembered, upon seeing it in front of our eyes, that there is a super world in Soho during the winter months in New York City.
Which sounds like a Walmart type experience or like store.
Or like a Super Mario Bros. Pop-up shop.
Yeah, like nothing about the name Super World tells me what it is.
Mm-hmm. But you know what it is? The girls that get it. It is the store that Aritzia opens as a pop-up in the winter, as I just said, exclusively filled with Aritzia Super Puff jackets of all kinds. It is a giant space and it's all white, and they have like cloud decorations that cover these like big aluminum rods that just have every single color and style and shape imaginable that you can think of Super Puffs, which is actually so smart because the Aritzias can only hold a certain amount of them with every store. There's not that many Aritzias in the city. Like,
right.
The people are coming for the coat.
The Puffs take up a lot of volume.
They do. They're big mamas. So I had known that there was a store there. I just forgot. And I was like, oh, this is perfect, Mom. Let's go in. Didn't think anything of it. Mom was like, oh, okay. I acquired my coat. Was so excited about it. Kelly comes back to the room after her timeshare extravaganza and is like, OMG, what is that huge white bag? What is Super World? And I was like, oh, it's the Super Puff pop-up shop, obviously. And I whip out my coat and she's like, what are you talking about? There's a Super Puff pop-up shop? And Liz goes on to describe what she saw before her very eyes and the wonder that was Super World. So Kelly was shook.
Yeah. So we needed to tell the people because I was like, surely most people do not know that this just warehouse of Aritzia Super Puff jackets exists in the middle of New York.
Yeah. So if you don't know which one, if you're thinking of maybe wanting one or have heard that they're great and you get an opportunity to visit during the winter months, definitely stop by. It's a good way to kind of feel out which style could be for you, which colors, materials you like, because there are a lot of options.
Amazing.
But that was kind of the big, that was the
big purchase of the trip. Yeah. Well, besides eating and briefly shopping, we did see some theater, which is something we love to do in New York. Obviously, Caitlyn is a aspiring and working theater professional.
I'm technically a professional now. That's crazy.
Yeah, amazing. But we were so excited to first up see the new revival of Spamalot, which we weren't expecting to get tickets for. We were able to get them day of, and we kind of had to sit separately at first, but then we actually wound up being able to sit together pretty quickly. A friend of mine is actually a bartender at Spamalot, but he wasn't working, but he had a friend hook us up with some free drinks, so that was amazing. And then we saw friends the show, which
places.
Yeah, I have friends everywhere. Shout out to Matthew, the bartender / also working theater professional. He's in a new production of Bonnie and Clyde. So,
oh my God,
best wishes to him. Yes. But was really excited to see Spamalot. We I didn't, I won't speak for both of us, did not do my homework in terms of who was in it. I knew that our queen, Leslie Kritzer, was the Lady of the Lake, and we love her. She was in Beetlejuice and has many credits before that. And she's just such a comedic genius. And fun fact, I did an excerpt from Spamalot as my Miss Florida talent one year, which that was unhinged, but
that's an episode. That's unhinged moments from Kelly and briefly Caitlyn's pageant career.
Yeah, that could be really its own podcast. But yeah, I performed Whatever Happened to My Part, which was a real smash at the local, and then I think fell flat on the state level. Again, we could talk for too long, but very excited to see it. Had an all-star cast. I mean, if you don't really follow theater, this won't mean a lot to you, but lots and lots of people we knew and were excited to see, including none other than Ariana Grande's new boo, Ethan Slater, aka SpongeBob of SpongeBob the Musical, who is such a doofus. Sex appeal, not so much. Very funny, very good actor, very good dancer. He signed our playbills at the stage door. Nice guy. But yeah, we were within 1 degree of separation, physically. I actually touched him briefly.
Yeah, we talked to him.
Yeah, we talked to him from Ariana Grande's new boyfriend that has caused a lot of scandal. But otherwise, review on Spamalot was wonderful. So funny. Definitely go see it.
Yeah, but back to Ethan. First of all, are you living under a rock? How did you not know he was in Spamalot? Especially as an appreciator of the theater.
You're right.
I
because
am shook that
my
you
bestie
didn't know
Grace, who does not follow the theater, or so I thought. I think she just follows probably more Ariana Grande related things. Did know
pop culture
because I posted the Spamalot playlist and she swiped up on my Instagram and was like, "Oh my God, Ariana's boyfriend." And I was like, "Wait, what? How did you know?" Because I didn't know until I was literally sitting in these seats and he came out and I leaned over and I was like, "Is that SpongeBob?"
Well, and then again, shout out to SpongeBob. There was one point we were laughing about it, whatever. He took his shirt off, or he came off. He was
fully nude, practically.
Yeah, it was kind of jarring, but you were like, wait, why is SpongeBob like low-key ripped? Like
he was jacked.
He's like very short, very pale, redhead, just like
not
he's
a hottie.
SpongeBob. Everyone's seen him now. Like that's the big running joke. But we were like, wait, why is he like ripped? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, so, he had a crazy good body under that costume and like not in a way that I really liked, but I was like, oh, okay.
To each their own, I
Ariana,
guess.
Whatever.
That's none of our business. But yeah, we saw SpongeBob. He was really nice.
She also used to date, lest we forget, she was engaged to Pete Davidson, right?
Oh
and
God.
I think she likes funny guys, and so do I. So
she's a theater kid at heart.
Exactly. Any further thoughts on Spamalot?
No, just that it's I mean, I knew Spamalot just from the history of your pageant talent, and we saw a production of it in New Hampshire many years ago,
summer
like
stock.
A regional production. So I've seen it before, but I didn't realize until the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade actually how much like ensemble work and like dancing there is. It was very flashy. There were a lot of dance numbers. The costumes were great. So if you think Spamalot, Camelot, that's not for me, it probably is, because it's very silly, very funny, and there's wow factor for sure. So I very much enjoyed it.
And for those who don't know, just from the title, it is a spoof on Monty Python's The Holy Grail, which is like a movie
which
from
is
the
already
70s,
a spoof,
which is a spoof on Camelot. Yeah, so lots of spoofs going on, but it's like it was a riff on a very famous movie from like the 70s that was a comedy that a lot of people know. That was a riff on Camelot. So lots of riffing, lots of flashy dance numbers. Good. I wouldn't say wholesome. It was not wholesome. It was
no. It was rather raunchy.
R-rated fun, but like if you're going to New York and you're looking for something to see, funny. Do recommend.
Yeah. Speaking of R-rated fun, actually, that's a good segue into Titanic.
We saw this
also
on Liz's birthday.
Very raunchy,
off Broadway, but like seems to be selling out still, and it's been open for more than a year, which is again like off Broadway, open for more than a year. It's attracting many, many, many alphabas. Like the cast is absolutely not like a off Broadway. We just threw on whoever we could find. Like it's a very talented, very lots of credits on this cast or those who have been cycling through. Very impressive, absolutely hilarious, totally unhinged, kind of original concept of like the fact that maybe Celine Dion was on the Titanic and like her version of events of what happened on the Titanic, and all set to Celine Dion music. And it was also very, very, very silly, very funny, lots of talent. Would recommend. Standout stars from Titanic. The iceberg bitch.
who was referred to a few times as Miss Bitch, which we're obsessed with.
We're going to be using to call each other, I think, kind of like a kitty, like Miss Bitch. It's going to be a nice use. But yeah, we loved Miss Bitch, like as a formal address of like iceberg bitch, Miss Bitch.
Yeah. Miss Bitch, please don't let me drown today. Like
right. And Miss Bitch is like
like a term of respect.
Yeah, and it was a black man dressed as a woman, dressed as an iceberg.
Dressed as Tina Turner.
Dressed as an iceberg. And at one point they make Jack and Billy Zane or whoever the boyfriend is in Titanic like lip sync for their life, like in RuPaul's Drag Race. It like again just totally unhinged. But one of the signature cocktails, most Broadway shows have a signature cocktail or a few that are on the menu, and theirs was the iceberg bitch margarita. Yeah. So we enjoyed a few iceberg bitch margaritas before the show, and
they were blue.
And they were blue like an iceberg. Also before the show, enjoying a Miss Bitch margarita was this week's featured star of the Kitty Corner.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to
not forget?
Tell them about.
So we don't know their name, but we turn our heads and a group of fierce people walk in, and one is dressed as a superstar slaying queen leopard, literally head to toe,
not in leopard print, like dressed like a leopard in a bodysuit,
like a cat.
And I think it's okay to say gay men. It was a group of gay men.
Yeah, gay men. Yeah, and he was quite literally a kitty in a corner.
Yeah.
Because we found them later at the bar, like in the bar area in the corner. They were sitting at a little table. And the kitty in question turns around and goes, "Oh my God, that coat is amazing. Give it to me," or something like that.
Talking about me and my coat, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
amazing.
So you guys bonded, and he took a picture for us in front of the Celine Dion cutout, which was great. Maybe we'll drop that on the IG. But yeah, shout out to this week's Kitty Corner feature. Wish we knew his name, but
thank you for your compliment.
And enjoyed the show.
Yeah, I hope he had fun. We had a lot of fun, and Titanique was a recommendation by my friend John, who said he had a great time, and he was right. He did not lead us astray, and I think Liz found it very silly, but enjoyed it for her birthday.
Yeah, I think there were some things that Liz didn't get. There was a lot of pop culture reference in there that I think just went over her head, but she appreciated it for sure, was laughing the whole time. I'll say this is a good show. Like if you've been to the Comedy Cellar or comedy shows in New York City, I know that's a popular kind of thing to do on the weekends amongst the youngs in New York. This is a great kind of like alternative to that, or something, a similar activity. It appeals to people that might not be into theater otherwise, or
right.
don't see theater frequently, or don't really have any interest in the shows that are running right now. Couldn't be us, but we love all types of theater, so we were excited to go see what this was all about. And I think this is a great show I would take for a friend that was visiting out of town that doesn't really care to see a musical.
More highbrow theater, but, yeah.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Yeah, was it highbrow theater? Certainly not.
No.
Was it a great time?
Lowbrow theater, if you will, yeah. Yes, Heck it was. And at one point, Iceberg Bitch was draped over top of Liz.
That's right.
In the finale.
Liz was patting she because
he as Iceberg Bitch. Yeah.
Moment. Yes. Was patting him on the back.
Right. It's okay, Iceberg Bitch.
Yeah. Oh, we got you. We're supporting you. So we I think my instinct was to touch him too. So I hope he didn't mind. I don't think so much, because
he was he touched you first.
Us,
yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun. Very interactive. So be warned. And probably don't take your daughter there
sitting in the front.
If you are a middle-aged man. We witnessed that throughout the show.
Yeah. Oh my God. There was definitely a dad who was there with his 12-year-old daughter, and he just had his face buried in his hand the whole time. And I felt for him, because I saw Spring Awakening with my mom when I was 13, and my dad would have been significantly worse. So it's okay. She'll turn out okay. Maybe one day she'll host a podcast with 100 listeners too.
Probably. Another key moment that was funny and kind of exclusive to our performance was this unhinged woman, and I think a daughter or family, that came in 30 minutes late to the performance, and they didn't sneak in stealthily. They were causing a scene, getting up and down, waving across the theater, trying to get each other's attention. They clearly weren't in the right spot or whatever, making a whole scene. It was so distracting. There's nothing I hate more than a lack of theater etiquette. I hate it. I can't stand it. It's awful. And I will stand on my high horse about that. But I could see the theater was very intimate. It was like a black box that they turned into, more of a stage. And we were so close. I could see Celine's face, shooting daggers at them. She was resting in the background while other Jack and Rose were doing a scene, and I could see her eyes following them as they made a scene in the audience. And I was like, ooh, Celine is not having this. And in the show, they do a lot of ad-libbing, a lot of improv, which was also so entertaining and just such a treat to witness. And so clearly I think it's different every performance you go to. And there was a genius moment where she called them out and was like, yada, 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 something about this family who came 30 minutes late and had no idea where their seats were. And I'm butchering the execution of this.
It was really funny. And she let them have it. And not just her, another actor at another point also read them the riot act from the stage. And it was well delivered, timely, and hilarious.
Yeah, for sure. So lots of fun surprise treats over at Titanique. Go definitely see it if you have the chance. And with that, I think we're kind of wrapping up.
We're wrapping up. We will be doing another episode to cover the dress shopping experience so that we can make sure we're not skimming over anything that might be of interest to the kitties. In the shortest possible way, tell us what you've got going on this week.
Yeah, so kind of like I was saying earlier, I'm back in Hoboken/NYC. I am back on the audition grind starting January 8th. I've put them in my calendar, so I can't just not go.
Good.
In the new year, I am following through. I have therapy tomorrow, which, not to be TMI, but we're transparent around here.
No, I think that's good.
That's an every Tuesday thing for me. So I go into the city. So while I'm making the trip, I have some returns to make in the city. So maybe I'll do like a shopping day. But I'm going to look at the schedules over at Steps and BDC, see if there's some dance classes that I would like to take, and so on and so forth. Back to working at Pure Bra too. So busy, and I'm excited to get back to it. What do you have going on?
Very good. Yes, back to work. I've been off for 10 consecutive days, which is crazy. That's including weekends, but I don't normally take that much time off. So I have a lot of emails to catch up on. And then quite a bit of travel. We had an unexpected departure from a team member who would be covering some of this travel. So I'm stepping up to do more than what was initially planned. But first up, going to Orlando for Miss America. Really excited about that.
So jealous.
Miss America is looking totally different this year. So really not sure what's to come. It is also being hosted where I'm getting married. So excited to...
Yeah.
Which, by the way, not Disney World.
Not at Disney World.
Nope.
PSA.
It is
That's an added layer of fun that now that you have secured Dr. Phillips as the venue, which, by the way, go check out our Christmas Spectacular Part 2 to hear more about those deets. We kind of slipped it in there accidentally on the down low. But yeah, that adds a layer of fun. I'm excited for you.
Yes. So we'll lay some eyes on that with Miranda, my friend who is Miss Florida. She's celebrating 10 years from the time she competed at Miss America and was third runner-up. So that'll be fun. We were trying to get our hair and makeup done by the person who I'm hoping to use for the wedding as like kind of a trial, but now she has to go do hair and makeup at Mrs. Earth, which I have some feelings about, but we'll leave that one as it is. So we'll be at Miss America in about 2 weeks, and then I have to go to Oregon and then Boston and then San Diego and LA all before the end of the month. So quite busy in the second half. We'll have to figure out when
all
we're
over the map.
Yeah, sync up for more potting, but we also have some more wedding dress shopping to do. So I don't want to give away too much, but still looking. We think we might have a favorite, so we'll tell you more about it in our Say Yes to the Mess extravaganza. But I'm going to pop into a few other places, I think in Florida and Atlanta, just to make sure that we've seen all we need to see.
Yes,
and that's what I've got going on.
And that's what you missed on Glee.
Yes.
So with that, hasn't happened yet, so you haven't.
Nope, you haven't. So with that, kitties, thanks for making it through this marathon of an episode where we didn't even cover what we intended to. Ooh, who's surprised? But we hope you have an amazing start to the new year. We have lots of goals, #goal-getters to accomplish that we'll also work on sharing. And thanks for being with us. We are so excited for 2024.
Definitely. And on that, we'll see you later this week.
Bye.
Good night and goodbye.